Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to Focus 6 to 7 Geography. I'm Terry from Maias Via Baracca in Firenze, originally from the United States. And I'm co-teaching today with
Paul. So guys, hello. Nice to meet you. I'm from Ireland. And me and Terry work together in Florence. We often take the bus together as well. Just unfortunately not at the moment. We're also coffee friends. And what else? Happy St. Patrick's Day, guys. I know it's not really related to geography, but today is St. Patrick's Day. So hello. Yay.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. We've been in the house for a week now, and it's like one day just goes to the next and the next. And thank you for reminding me. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
No worries. I think we've got bigger priorities to remember at the moment, but yeah, today is St. Patrick's Day. Yay. I wish I had my Irish flag so I could put it out the window, but I'll play a few Cranberries music in a minute,
Okay. Excellent. So today we're going to talk a little bit about geography. The geography of the United States is very, very diverse.
Absolutely.
Because the United States is so huge. We have a lot of coastal areas, Atlantic and Pacific. We've got several mountain ranges, a lot of flatlands, but just incredible diversity of geography. What's it like in Ireland, Paul?
Well, hello, students. First of all, we just have a few people joining us, Terry, which is great as always. Ireland is probably one of the most beautiful countries in the world in terms of nature. I hope people agree with me on that one. We're full of cliffs, full of valleys, mountains, rocks, kind of like America as well. So yeah, we're full of nature. In terms of diversity, well, obviously it's important that people know that Irish is a language. It's not separate. It is completely different from English. We do speak it. I speak just a little. And obviously English is our first language. Unfortunately, Irish is not so spoken anymore, but we're making efforts to try and speak it again. So Terry, let's say hello to our students.
Well, hello. Let's see. We've got Carla from Naples, Mattia from Pescara, Mariana from Bologna, and Morelia. Where are you from? Okay, so tell us, Antonia, welcome from Milan. Use Mari from Verona, and Morelia is from Rome. Excellent. We have people from all over. So tell us a little bit about the geography in your area, okay? All right. Hello, everybody. So let's get started, shall we?
Yep.
Maybe. Technical difficulties, sorry.
It's all right, we'll get there. So guys, tell us about your geography. We have Mary from Verona as well. Nice to meet you, Mary. Very Irish name, actually, Mary. We have Antonia from Milan as well. We've got people from north, south. Great, guys. Naples, yeah, from the very north to the south. Great. Excellent. If I was to say my favorite place in Italy, one of my favorite places is actually Naples. I really like that area. Beautiful food. Okay.
The best pizza ever.
For sure. But in my opinion, Bologna is the best city for food. Just offering my preference. Ragu.
All right. So, Paul, could you read this slide for us?
Yeah. So comparing geographic locations, superlatives, comparatives, and vocabulary.
Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about comparatives, superlatives, And we're going to get a chance to compare some of our geographic areas.
Terry, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is a comparative and what is a superlative? If you could tell our audience, please.
Oh, for goodness sake. All right. So a comparative is when you use a specific phrase, a specific structure to say
Mm,
that something is more or less something than something else. For
okay.
example, for example, a cat is smaller than a dog.
Okay, cool.
You can also use a comparative to say two things are the same. If you
Okay,
say, this dog is as big as that dog.
exactly. Yes, we use the as structure. So thank you. And superlatives, guys, just talks about a singular structure. Example, the best food is Spanish food, of course.
We can also use superlatives, though, as you did, to say one is the top, the biggest, the best, the worst.
Mm-hmm.
We can also use the superlatives to say that it is one of
Exactly.
the best, the worst. So good, very good. We'll get more into that as we go along. Geography quiz, yay, quiz time. Okay, I'm the only one who gets excited about quizzes. Great. So,
Yay.
where are they? Lake Baikal is the deepest lake in the world, 1,637 meters deep. It holds 20% of the world's fresh water. Lake Baikal is in, let's see if any of our students can tell us where it is.
Yeah, because
Paul,
I
would you
don't.
read this? Would you read the second one while we're waiting for students to respond?
Yeah, so the widest river in the world is the Amazon River in, well, I think I know that one. Okay.
And the next?
The highest waterfall in the world is Angel Falls, 979 meters. It is located in. Interesting. Some
Okay,
nice passives there as well. It is located in.
very good. All right. So I know we all know what a lake is, probably what a river is. What's a waterfall?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's water falling down, basically.
Okay. Una cascada, exactly. Water falling down. All right.
I just tried to simplify it. Interesting.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
Nancy says the first one is in Russia. Well, the
double
name
S.
Lake Baikal, it seems like it could be.
Hmm.
And she
Russia,
is
very good.
correct.
Double S, okay? Russia, or USSIA, but well done. Excellent, okay?
Excellent. And also remember that we have to use capital
Yeah.
letters when we use proper nouns. Okay, so to Brazil. So the Amazon River does pass through Brazil, but if I'm not mistaken, it also extends into
Mm,
other countries.
yeah. So it's better to say South America in general. Very good.
Correct.
And number 3. So
Venezuela. Nancy, how do you know all of this? How do you know
mostly,
all of this, Nancy?
I think she's a geography teacher.
So, Nancy, what do you do? Are you a geography teacher?
Yeah, tell us. And just to, as Terry, referring to your earlier question about the geography of their towns, Madia says that around my town, you all can find everything you need. Okay, but just write with the U structure correctly if you can. You can taste arrosticini directly in front of the sea. Okay, I liked your use of
Mm,
adverbs.
arrosticini.
What is
Oh.
that?
I guess we would call them shish kebabs because it's pieces of meat, pieces usually of
Oh
lamb
wow!
that
Oh
are
yum!
on
A stick.
oh. There
Oh
is
wow!
one place here in Florence that does a rosticini. It's a man from Abruzzo that has
Okay,
this place near Santo Spirito. It's fabulous.
something
So
to try. I'm not saying.
there's your tourism guide for the day. All right.
Yeah, I really want to visit Naples.
When this is over. When this is over.
Of
Okay,
course.
so geography locations. Paul, would you mind reading the names of these different locations?
Absolutely. Geographic locations. What are these? Valley, river, desert. Okay, Terry, difficult to hear. Island or Iceland? What's the pronunciation?
Island.
Ah, okay, thank you. Why?
Silent S.
Ah, okay, so it's Island. Thanks, Terry.
No
Just wanted
problem.
to check that one. Canyon, lake, mountains, and cliffs. Okay, so guys, just be careful here on the pronunciation. Island. Okay, we don't pronounce the S. Okay, island.
Nancy says she's an ordinary person with a lot of time and small culture. Don't small culture? I don't know that I would. Oh, look, everyone's answering. A valley. That is correct.
Be
Fabulous,
careful
everyone.
what you're spelling, Morelia. Valley.
Good catch, Paul. So Nancy is the first to say that B is a mountain.
Hmm,
Excellent, excellent. All right. How about C? What is C?
I wonder. It's really beautiful.
So in the background of the picture, I see some trees and hills, maybe even a mountain range. But what is that body of water? Excellent. That is a lake, Nancy. Well done. Okay. So for
Hmm,
we see the body of water, we see the sky, and we see a piece of land out in that body of water. Marina Island, fabulous. All
brilliant.
right. How about E? How
Hmm.
about E?
Have you ever been to the place in E, Terry?
Oh, I spent more than a year in a place that's similar to E, but the place that I was in, the sand was flat. You
Ah,
could
okay.
see for miles. In Kuwait, in Iraq, it's flat.
Sorry. E is desert. Very good. Terry,
Excellent.
interesting point here, right? I'm sure Nancy made just a little spelling mistake, but don't confuse desert and dessert. Okay, there's a difference. What is the difference, Terry?
Dessert, double S, is a sweet treat after
Yeah,
dinner. Desert is not so sweet.
exactly. Correct.
Desert is very dry. All
Mm.
right, and we have F for cliffs.
Yay.
Thank you, Carla and Nancy, Marina. G, river. Excellent. And H, canyon. Fabulous,
F
everybody.
F, guys, is the Cliffs of Moher. You can see that near County Clare in Ireland. So I recommend visiting. It's one of our most treasured geographic locations. I absolutely love it. I went there 2 years ago with my students from Brazil, and we had an amazing time. So I highly recommend visiting. Okay, they're called the Cliffs. Okay, the and Terry, I recommend you to go as well. The Cliffs.
Matthias says he has been there.
Ah, wow. Did you like it, Mattia?
I would love to go, Paul. Ireland is on my list of places that I must see. Absolutely. I want to go to Cork. I want to go to, oh, what's it called? Begins with a D.
Donegal?
Yes, Donegal. These
Is
are
it because
places
of
I
our teachers?
definitely want to see. Seamus is from Donegal.
Yeah, is it because of our teachers? It's because you want to visit, or no, Americans, like, they're well looked after when they visit Ireland. There's a good connection. There's a good history between our people, for sure.
Absolutely. All
And
right. So go ahead.
just another fact that, generally speaking, it's tradition that every year the Irish, well, unfortunately this year we haven't done it, but every year, generally speaking, our prime minister, we call it an Taoiseach in Irish, visits the American president, and it's a tradition basically.
I wonder if that will be taking place today.
Thank you. No, not at all. Everybody's at home. But happy St. Patrick's Day. Thanks a million, guys, from Milan. Thank you.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about how we can describe some of these different geographical features. So we're going to first look at some opposites. So we have wide, deep, and high. Not high, high, just like hi.
Okay.
That GH is silent. Paul, what are the opposites?
Low, narrow, shallow. So, guys, please tell us the opposites when you can.
Wide, narrow. Very good. Deep, shallow. Mattia, you are on fire. And so that leaves us with high and low. So tell me,
Good
Paul,
job.
those cliffs that we were looking at, the cliffs of Moher, are they very high?
Absolutely. I'm very nervous when I'm there because I'm afraid of heights. Heights is the noun. Okay, so I'm afraid. I'm writing it in capitals, but I'm afraid of heights. But yes, it's absolutely high. Can you give an example of something high, Terry, in America, please?
Well, the Empire State Building is very tall, and when you are up at the top looking down, it is incredibly high, and some people get vertigo. The head spins a little bit. We also have a lot of cliffs. The Grand Canyon, for example, is incredibly high. But a question for you. In America, there are lots of cliffs, and I have gone cliff diving, jumping off cliffs into the water below. But when I saw that picture of the cliffs of Moher, it didn't look like the water was very deep under the cliff. Is that correct?
You might be correct, Terry. I'm not so sure on that question. I don't want to give an answer, yes or no, but yeah, it does look quite shallow.
It does. All right. Excellent. All right. Now, so, Paul, will you read for us?
Yeah, so it says, guys, describe geographic features. What adjectives would you use to describe these geographic features? Valley, river, canyon, lake, mountains, and cliffs.
Okay, so we're going to put these geographic features into categories of wide, narrow, deep, shallow, and high, low. So go ahead. You students have all the answers today. Give us your answers. Which geographic features should we put into these different categories? So I'm looking at this picture. This picture is of a river that looks like one side is bordered by cliffs and the other side is bordered by trees.
It looks really, really beautiful.
It really does. So Matthias says a valley is deep, shallow, wide, narrow. Excellent work, Mattia. That was perfect. Okay, how about a river? So go ahead, give us your answers, even if they are not in order of river, canyon, lake. Send us your answers and let's see if someone can do as well as Mattia just did. So is this river in a valley, Paul?
You're really putting me on the spot here. I think so.
Valley.
No, it's not. Wait, sorry. Valley is V. Okay.
Okay. And what is it when it's not, but
narrow?
In a canyon.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Terry. Dear Paul, go back to school and learn some geography. It's so embarrassing.
I have to laugh because sometimes even we teachers, we know these answers in our head, but sometimes the words just aren't there when we need
I
them.
didn't know. I just didn't know the answer. I'm going to be honest right here.
Okay. All right, now you do. So, okay.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
number 2, Matthias says wide, narrow, deep, shallow for river. Okay. Good. Good. Valley, wide, deep. Okay. River. River is deep and narrow. So wide, shallow, deep, narrow. Good. Okay. A canyon. Canyon, high, low. All right. What else can a canyon be, Nancy? Nancy says a canyon is high. So high, low. What other adjective might we use to describe a canyon?
Maria has the answer.
Mattia, canyon, deep, shallow, wide, narrow. So I would also say the canyon itself is very deep, but bad Terry. So the canyon, exactly, the canyon is very deep. If you think about it, I'm thinking of the perspective from standing on the side and looking into the canyon. So I'm standing on a cliff looking in. Okay. All right. So Carla says lake, deep, shallow, perfect. So we're just missing mountains and cliffs. No, mountains are high and wide. Are they wide? What do you think, Paul? Are mountains wide or narrow?
What do you think, Terry? I don't want to answer.
I think I agree with Mattia. I think mountains are high and low. High and low. And cliffs, high and wide.
I don't think you'd say wide.
I
Wide.
wouldn't say a cliff
No,
is
high and
wide.
low. High and low.
Exactly. Only high and low because a cliff arrives from the land. So the land could go back a long way. A cliff is definitely not wide or narrow. It's simply high or low. Excellent. Really good work, everybody. Are there any cliffs in Italy? Are there any mountains in Italy? So, quick Italian geography. What valleys, rivers, canyons, lakes, mountains, or cliffs can you name in Italy? How about you in Ireland, Paul? Can you name any valleys, rivers, canyons, lakes, mountains, cliffs?
Okay, we have the River Shannon, which is the longest river in Ireland. We have the River Lee, which flows through Cork. And Dublin has the River Liffey. And also there are kind of songs made about the River Liffey as well. There's a song in Ireland called Molly Malone. And if you guys check it out on YouTube, you could probably see a song about the River Liffey, which is kind of famous in Dublin. So it's called Molly Malone. It's a song, and the lyrics include the River Liffey. Actually, Ireland is quite famous because if you go to like the principal cities such as Cork and Dublin, when you see pictures, you see like a bridge and the river flows. So the river is like the heart. And historically speaking, Dublin was a rich area for Britain to conquer just because it was a river and it was near, when historically speaking, when you're near a river, it's kind of rich in resources, basically.
Okay. So Matthias said the Po River is the longest. And he also knows the Molly's song. That's great.
Yeah. Alive, alive, oh, man. I think Mattia is he's obsessed with Irish culture. That's wonderful.
That's
Thank you very much,
fabulous.
Mattia.
All right. So gosh, in America, we have different mountain ranges. We have the Rocky Mountains, we have the Blue Ridge Mountains, which actually aren't high like mountains, but they're
Hmm.
called the Blue Ridge Mountains. Lots of lakes, lots of canyons. There's Hell's Canyon, which runs through Idaho, and it has the River of No Return inside it. And we used to go, when I was in America, we would go rafting often.
Often. Cool.
So Carla says, Maiella, Marone, and Gran Sasso are the most famous mountains in Abruzzo.
I
Excellent.
like
Thank you, Carla.
I like the use of the superlative there as well. Well done.
Fabulous. And Marina says, Garda Lake is one of the biggest in Europe. Fabulous comparative, one of the biggest.
Do
Absolutely
we,
wonderful.
Terry, do we say Garda Lake or Lake Garda? I'm just trying to think there of the word order. Because I don't know. I think it's Lake Garda, no? But
I think that usually with things like geographical features, well, I think with some certain things like specific names, for example, I hear a lot of people try to use the word square when
yeah,
they describe a piazza. And I think that I prefer to go with the names of
me
places
too.
as they exist in that culture.
Me too. I think it makes, like you say, Piazza de San Marco just sounds better than San Marco Place. It just doesn't
San
sound
Marco
right.
Square,
Yeah,
Republica Square doesn't have quite the same feeling.
absolutely. And there's also like if there's a famous place in Seville, it's the Heartbeat. It's called Plaza de España. I mean, you're not going to directly translate and say the place of Spain. It just doesn't. It
Ex-
just like Spanish Square. It just doesn't sound well.
Exactly. And one thing I've never understood is why there is this difference. Like in English, we call Roma Rome or Napoli Naples.
Yeah,
I
I prefer to say Napoli. To be honest, I really do.
Me too, and Firenze.
Yeah,
So,
Firenze.
all right. Anyway, but that's a personal preference, right?
Yeah.
Eh. Okay, so now what we'd like you to do, obviously you can't work in pairs, but we would like you to tell us about your city where you live now or your hometown and
Mm,
use the questions below to kind of guide you along in your answers. So while you write your answers, Paul and I will, sorry,
read. It's all right.
will
No worries.
describe our hometowns. So, Paul, if you wouldn't mind, will you begin?
Okay, so in Ireland, I live in a city called Cork. The streets are very narrow, and our most important source of water is the River Lee. It's very, very fresh. In Ireland, the water is, of course, potable because it rains a lot. Ireland is also famous for its rain. We have many mountains, cliffs, and mountains. There's a famous, well, it's next to Cork, but it's called the Ring of Kerry, where you can go for a walk and you can go hiking. So Ireland, or well, Cork in general, is full of cliffs as well and nature. Okay, so that describes Cork. What about you, Terry? Where in America are you from again?
I'm from Seattle, which is
Okay,
in the very northwest corner, almost to Canada.
okay,
But Seattle is an interesting city. Um, for the most part, the streets are very, very wide. We have 6-lane highways, 6 rows of traffic that go one direction, 6 that return the other. So we have some very wide streets. Even the streets that run through the center where there are buildings are at least 2 to 3 lanes wide.
wow,
And its most important source of water is the mountains that surround the region, that surround the Pacific Northwest. There's the Rocky Mountain Range that's a little bit to the east, and then there's the Cascade Mountain Range that runs through Washington State, where Seattle is. And so we rely heavily on good snow every winter in the mountains to fill our reservoirs.
Wow, interesting.
But it's interesting because we have the mountain ranges where we get our fresh water, and Seattle is bordered by the sea. It's actually on the Puget Sound, which is an inlet from the Pacific Ocean.
So it's like a great combination of different weather.
It really is because, well, the Pacific Ocean is a very dark ocean. It's really cold. If you are standing up to your waist where your jeans arrive, you can't see your feet.
Wow.
But that being said, so we do go swimming. But as you arrive in Seattle by plane, if you look to the south or the north, you will always see snow-capped mountains.
Wow.
You're looking at the sea in the middle and mountains in back behind and on both ends. It's quite spectacular, and it sounds like it does in Ireland. Now, Ireland is called the Emerald Isle because it rains so much it's always green, right?
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
I suppose.
It's the same
Yeah.
in Seattle. It's always green because it rains 9 months out of the year.
They say that in the west of Ireland, which region is called, well, Ireland is divided into 4 regions: Connacht, Ulster, Munster, Leinster. Connacht, which is west, so exactly where cliffs are. It rains 2 out of every 3 days. So
It rains 2 to 3 what? You broke up a
it
little.
rains. Sorry, excuse me. It rains 2 out of every 3 days. I think that's a statistic.
That's a lot of rain. But it is true, it's called the Emerald Isle, right?
That's true.
Okay. Emerald because it's so green. So Mattia says, Lake of Scano is the sweetest lake in the world because it seems at
Or
an
I think you're trying to make a comparative.
It seems like a heart.
Yeah.
The shape, it seems like a heart.
Maybe it's a different word. I would say looks like. Seem is kind of, I think look is a little bit more specific. If you're maybe using a more like when you see, it looks like. But maybe you can tell me I'm wrong here, but it looks like a heart. So yeah, we use look like when we use a noun. Remember, he looks happy with an adjective. It looks like a heart. Okay, very good.
All right. And
you could say it is shaped like a heart as well. So
it's shaped like a heart. Good. Also, okay. Carla says, in my hometown, the streets are narrow. Remember, Carla, in Italian, we conjugate the adjective to agree with the noun. In English, the adjective is the adjective. No masculine, feminine, plural, singular. In my hometown, the streets are narrow. I was born in the Amazonian zone in Bolivia. Wow, excellent. That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Would you please describe what that looks like, Carla? I'm really, really interested to hear. Marina says, Maestre is a little town. The streets are enough narrow. Paul, can you help me with this? Enough narrow.
Yeah, so enough, okay, good quantifier. Enough is used after adjectives, okay, which kind of means sufficient. So, for example, the streets are narrow enough. Okay?
But narrow enough, if you say narrow enough, you're describing it in relation to something, right? What are they narrow enough for?
Yeah. Maybe if she could use a different adjective, perhaps. The streets are quite narrow. Maybe it sounds better, like a modifier. Could be
Quite,
better.
quite narrow, really narrow.
Yeah, so using a modifier like quite, very, really, that would be more appropriate.
Okay. That's an Italian structure with English words. Le strade sono abbastanza strette.
Very nice.
But in English, we wouldn't use enough in that way. But really great. It's a little town. Fabulous. Let's see. Carla says the most important source of water is fresh water. My hometown was part of the Amazonian forest, but now is a little modern city. So, Carla, excellent, excellent work, great adjectives, great detail. But one thing we have to do, we have to change the position of two words. So, the most important source of water is fresh water. We wouldn't say it's because we don't use the pronoun with the proper noun in the same part of the phrase. So the most important source of water is it. So we need to take it out. But in the second part of the phrase, but now, what is a little modern city? So we need you to take that my hometown, which is in the first part of the phrase, which is joined to the second part by the conjunction but. And so we need that pronoun in the second part. So reverse is and it's, and your phrase is perfect. I hope that was clear. Paul, was that clear?
Yep. Very
okay.
clear.
Nancy says in Bergamo, there are some wide streets, others are narrow because there are bike lanes and mountains.
Don't forget capital B. Capital B.
Yeah. Bergamo, exactly. We need Bergamo in capital. All right. Great descriptions, everybody. Really great. All right. So, Paul, will you read for us?
Yeah, so geographically speaking, the US is the world's third largest country in size. It is 2 times larger than the European Union. Its geography is very diverse, and you can find everything from tropical islands in Hawaii and Florida to cliffs, canyons, and deserts, in the southwest. Death Valley in California is deeper than the Grand Canyon. At 86 meters, it is the lowest point in the country. Denali, or is that correct pronunciation? Denali? Okay, Denali in Alaska is the tallest mountain, 6,198 meters in the US and North America. Crater Lake in Oregon is 580 meters deep. It's also the 9th deepest lake in the world. The Mississippi River is the river in the US and the 4th longest river in the world. Oh, the Mississippi River has so much history.
Oh, it does. It really does. But it is the dirtiest river I have ever seen. Okay. I've been to New Orleans several times, and as you stand beside the Mississippi River and watch this rush past, because it's a very fast, deep river, it's brown. It literally looks like muddy water. Mud being fango, it looks like muddy water that's rushing by. It's incredible. So, can you help us? Can you help us find the superlatives and comparatives in this paragraph? So now again, we're looking for your answers. And just go ahead and type all of the comparatives and superlatives that you see in this paragraph. So one thing that I didn't know, Paul, when you were reading this, I did not know that the US is twice as big as the European Union.
Neither did I.
That's incredible. So that means all of the EU together, the land, the US is 2 times larger. That's a lot. Okay. So, waiting for some answers from all of you out there.
Hawaii. It says there, Terry, Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii?
I have been to Hawaii 5 times.
Wow. And can you tell me a little bit about, like, is Hawaii, do they have like their own language?
Well,
Or is that
Hawaiian, they do have a very different culture. They have an island culture, and there is a language, a Hawaiian language.
wow?
But Hawaii is also very interesting geographically because obviously being an island, it's surrounded by water and it's
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by some of the most beautiful beaches. But in
Okay.
the center of Hawaii, in the center of the main island of Oahu, you climb up mountains to go through these rainforests, which are these incredibly dense jungle-like areas. And it's so green, and literally you can be on the beach where it's not raining and look to the center of the island and see that it's raining on the mountaintops. It's spectacular. It's something everyone should see. I love Hawaii.
Cool, Terry. Thank you for sharing that.
So let's see. We have a lot of answers.
We do,
We have
guys. Brilliant.
largest, larger than, deeper than. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
apparently first we wanted the superlatives, then the comparatives, but I'm reading everything. Superlatives, third largest country. Comparative, larger than, lowest, tallest, deepest, longest. Absolutely fabulous. Comparative, 2 times larger than. Really great, everybody.
It's like if you're doing it's like you're doing the lottery, Terry. You know, we've got the deeper than, we've got longer than, we've got taller than, we've got this, we've got that. It's like if you're announcing the national lottery and the winner is dun, 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 dun.
All right. So also, just so that you can see, if you look towards the end of the paragraph, Crater Lake in Oregon is 589 meters deep. It's also the 9th deepest. So deepest is the superlative, but 9th deepest becomes the comparative.
Mm.
So also the Mississippi River is the longest river in the US, superlative form. And the 4th longest being superlative, but 4th longest becoming a comparative.
Mm.
Wow. All right. All right. So now we're going to give all of you a chance to use these comparatives and superlatives. So here are 3 different mountains: Mount Blanc, Mount Denali, and Mount Everest.
Mm.
You can see there the height of each mountain. So give us some superlative and comparative phrases for these 3 mountains. So Paul, can you think of cliffs or lakes or rivers that you can use comparatives or superlatives for in Ireland?
I can only think of one. I'm just comparing Mount Everest and I'm comparing the Kerry Mountains. So Mount Everest is higher than the Kerry Mountains.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
I would imagine maybe even Mount Blanc is higher than the Kerry Mountains.
Absolutely. Terry, can you make for example, can you give a superlative or a comparative example of mountains in America?
Of mountains in America. Let's see. Mount Hood is one of the coldest mountains in the United States. It maintains a snowpack even in summer.
Wow.
All right.
Interesting.
Do we have any comments from? No comments yet. Come on, people. Let's get on that chat and give us your comparatives or superlatives.
Or guys, just give us superlative or comparative examples of the rivers, of lakes, of anything. We're just looking for comparative and superlative examples. For example, the River Lee. The River Shannon is the longest river in Ireland. Okay, that's just talking about a river. So think of something and just tell us an example. That would be great.
All right. So, Paul, would you read the examples that are here for these mountains?
Yeah, so we have Mount Denali is higher than Mount Blanc, but Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Absolutely.
Excellent.
I'm
And
only just doing it now.
Matthias says Everest is highest than others' mountains. Now, Matthias, remember that than comes after the comparative. So it would be Everest is higher than other mountains. Higher than other mountains.
This is good. Well, Mont with an M-O-N-T. So Mont Denali is higher than Mont Denali? Yeah, is higher than Mont Blanc. That is correct. Just be careful on your spelling. Okay.
But Paul, Mount Denali is how it's spelled with a U because in American English, Mount Denali being in America, this is the diminutive of mountain, so we do include the U.
Okay. No, and you cannot change. No, I was wrong. You cannot change the spelling of you cannot change the spelling of a geographical location. I remember that. I remember before I was doing a history report on Pearl Harbor, and I spelled Pearl Harbor, I think, in the British English way, and my history teacher said, no, you have to keep it by its name, which is true.
Exactly. So Mount Blanc is smaller than Mount Denali. Excellent, Nancy.
Yeah, smaller. Okay, cool.
Also, Carla said Mount Blanc is smaller than Mount Denali. Fabulous. Mount Denali is higher than Mount Blanc. Also, Marina, very, very good. Okay. Mount Blanc is the shortest mountain. Mount Blanc is the shortest mountain between the others. I would say of these. Wouldn't you, Paul?
Yeah, or between these, maybe. Between these?
Between these mountains.
Oh yeah, or from the three, Mount Blanc is.
Yeah. Continue.
No, from the three, Mount Blanc is the shortest, perhaps.
Okay. All right. Mount Denali is higher than Mount Blanc, but it's lower than Everest. Okay.
Good job.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Now we just have 2 minutes left. So what I'd like to do, Mount Everest is the most higher. So let's clear this up a little bit. Remember that if it's a comparative, if it has ER, we can't use most or EST. So most is something by itself. EST is something different. These are both superlatives. Comparatives, more. If the comparative is long, like interesting, it's more interesting. But if the comparative has ER, it's alone, right? So more is one, ER is the other for comparatives. Most or EST, not together for superlatives. Italy is smaller than Brazil. All
Yeah,
right.
when you're doing a comparative, guys, just think of two objects that you're comparing at the same time. And superlative, generally speaking, is something that is, as Terry said, the highest or the lowest. Okay, the top or the bottom. Okay.
Okay.
So
So our time is up, Paul. I'm really sorry. I've got another
all right.
class to rush off to, but I hope that this lesson helped. I hope we cleared up some confusion. I hope we didn't create any confusion.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank everybody for coming today and for such great participation. We really appreciate it. And with that,
Thanks,
I'm going
guys.
to let Paul close.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Happy St. Patrick's Day and ciao. Ci vediamo pronto.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.